So should go through the sugi of the Aron. So the big shaila about the Aron is why the Rambam doesn't mention it. The Rambam doesn't go through how the Aron is made, any of the pratim. So the k'lol is there's two mahalchim. What in the start of the Rambam? So one mahalach is to say that there's only ever one Aron, there's never going to be another Aron, so it's not negeya. And the other mahalach is to say that the Aron is not ma'akev, it's not one of the klisharis, something like that. So we'll go through both of these a little bit. So start off with the second one, that it's not a klisharis, it's not ma'akev, and it goes aktei kach. There's a shitta that says that the Beis Hamikdash doesn't need the Aron. The Aron is not negate to the Beis Hamikdash. The Aron, there's a din in the Aron. The Aron, if you have an Aron, the place of the Aron is in the Beis Hamikdash. The Aron needs the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash doesn't need the Aron. It's such an extreme shitta. But anyways, but on this Nakuda, the Rebbe has a very interesting word in the Safas and Chelik Dalid. The Rebbe asks this shaila and a few more shailas. The Rebbe asks why the Aron was hidden so long before the Churban. Yeshua was a long time before the Churban. Why did they have to hide it so early? Why couldn't you wait till that's going to be the Churban? Then you could hide it. Yeah, at the end of the day, even afterwards, the Rebbe says in the famous Sikha that that even after it's hidden, it's still part of the Beis Hamikdash. It's still in a special place. Fine, but it's not the same as being in the Chatchildika place in the Kodesh HaKodashim. It's not the same. So why did you have to hide it so early? And another question that Rebbe asks is why, when Mishkan Shulei was destroyed, why didn't they hide the Aron? Right, before they saw it's going to be destroyed, why didn't they hide the Aron in advance? So over there, maybe you can be machalik that implying that the sikh is ba'if and acher to the sikh and chelik chavav. So based on the sikh and chelik chavav, could be you can answer this question that over there they didn't have a special place that's a place for the Aron. Yeah, in the Beis Hamikdash, Shlomo built a place that's a place for the Aron, so you could put it there. But in the Mishnah they didn't have that, so they couldn't move it. But here the Rebbe says a different word. The Rebbe says that the inyan of the Aron is to bring down the Shechina, Sashras HaShechina. So in the Beis Hamikdash, which is a Diras Keva, so once the Shechina is Shoyra, it doesn't leave. And therefore, once the Aron was there once, it's not so negay, it should stay there. As soon as the Aron was put in the Kodesh HaKodashim in the Beis Hamikdash, it doesn't have to stay there. When it's there, it has a mila, it's a higher Shechina, but the pull of the Aron is done once and then it's there. So maybe it's not a big deal to hide it a long time before the Churban. And that's why, and it's also why the Ram doesn't have to say it, because we don't need the Aron anymore. Once Shlomo put the Aron in the Beis Hamikdash, we're good until Mashiach comes. We don't need the Aron anymore. Zich as a mile if you have it, but it's not. That's why it's not ma'akev anymore. And Mishkan Shilai was a Mishkan. And Mishkan is a Diras Harai. So Diras Harai, you don't have this vart that the Shechin is not mistalik. As long as when the Aron is there, the Shechina is there. So the Aron goes away, the Shechina goes away. So it was usher for them to move the Aron in Mishkan Shilai. So they couldn't move it. So they have to wait till it was after the Churban, and by then it was too late. It was already captured. They weren't able to move it because if they move it, then there's no Mishkan. Beis Hamikdash, even after you move it, there's still a Beis Hamikdash because the Shechina is not mistalik. Shechina is not batal. Okay, so that's all in that mahalach. The other mahalach says that no, the Aron is very important. We need the Aron. Alamai, there's only ever going to be one Aron. So Shaila is why exactly is there only going to be one Aron? So fine, so that says that the Aron is still there, and the Aron is still in the Hamikdash, and it's part of the building, and it's mechaber of all the Bati Hamikdash. But you could still ask why they didn't make another Aron. You could have the Aron that's underground. You'd have another Aron in the Kodesh HaKodashim in its right place. And just like you find in the Mishkan that they had two Arons, that the Aron went after Muhammad. There's two Arons. So what's so bad? Yeah, the Poil and Bayasheni, they didn't have an Aron in the Kodesh HaKodashim. So why not? Why couldn't they make another Aron? So the Minchas Chinuch says that the Aron is the Luchis. Aron is the house full of Luchis. So if you can't make new Luchis, you can't replace the Luchis. If you don't have the Luchis, there's no point in the Aron. Problem is that we find something very similar by the Choshen. The Choshen and the Urim V'Tumim. So in Bayis Sheni, the Urim V'Tumim didn't answer, didn't have Ruach HaKodesh, but they still different shittas, whatever. But they still made it, even though it didn't have that thing which was the Chayret's whole Indian. So the Vayter, you can make an Aron. Aron is one of the Kalim, and it won't have the Luchis. So it won't have its purpose. It won't have what it's for. But it's one of the kalim, so you'll have it. It'll be like Urim V'Tumim. They don't answer. So So one answer is that it's different. That the choshen is more. The choshen is less totally on the answering, and the one is less totally on answering than the Aron is about the luchos. Try and make a chiluk from sukkim, whatever. But the other answer is that a kli in the Beis Hamikdash needs chinuch. It has to be inaugurated to be a kli in the Beis Hamikdash. And there's two ways you do that. There's Mashicha and Avodah. And so Moshe Rabbeinu did Mashicha in the Mishkan. But there's a limit that after the Mishkan you only do Avodah. Moshe Rabbeinu did Mashicha. You're never going no new kelim that are added after the Mishkan are not going to be through Mashicha. They're going to be through Avodah. The Avodah is Machanech the kli. So the Aron doesn't have Avodah. So there's a machloika. It's not so pasha. There's a machloikas in the Hazayis and Yom Kippur. If they're actually there's Hazayis on the Kapeiros, as a machloikas, if it's actually connected with the Aron, it's connected with the Makim. And when the Zich, what happened when the Bepai, when there was no Aron and Bayasheni, they did the Hazayis on that Ashsiya, on that Makim. So the machloikas in the Gemara, if it's taka, if it has anything to do with the Aron. So according to one shit. Aron has an avodah, and then you couldn't be mechanech a new Aron. According to the other shitta that there's no avodah, you can't be mechanech a new Aron. But there's thoughts sad to say that because there's no avodah, so maybe we could go back to Mashiach. That the meal that the Torah gives, that it's not going to be Mashiach, it's only going to be avodah. That's only referring to something that has shaykh avodah. If there's no avodah, then that meal wasn't going on that. And you could still do Mashiach. So the problem is that the Shemen HaMishcha was also hidden together with the Aron. It's one of the things that was hidden was the Shemen HaMishcha. Shemen HaMishcha, Zikr, there's an Isser to make it again. It's a Klara Isser, Tesis brings down, from Sukkim, you can't make Shemen HaMishcha. So Shemen HaMishcha we don't have, and in Mela there's no way to be Mechanich a new Aron, so that's why you can't make a new Aron, and that's part of why it was so Negeya for them to hide the Aron. Besides what the Rebbe says, also we can't replace the Aron. It's not shaykh to make another Aron and be mechanech. There's no way to do it. There is one shit that wants to say there's another way of chinuch that just putting it in the right places. But Pashas according to more shittas, you can't be mechanech a new Aron. So that's part of the reason why we have to make sure that this Aron we're always going to have. It's going to be hidden. And I'll just mention, very interesting, that Rabbi says in the Ha'ara Tafshin Nun that Yishleimar, just Pachittas Azai, that Yishleimar, that when the Aron was hidden, also all the Kalim were hidden. The Menorah, the Mizbeach, everything was hidden along with it. That's why Yishleimar, they're all going to be ready when Mashiach comes, all the Kalim are all there. So you have to understand why the Ram says that about the Aron, but the Svarda, that's everything else also. Okay, a little short. What?
What did they use
afterwards?
They made no.
The after Rebbe says anyways about the menorah that it's not so pashut, I think. What? Huh?